Yeah, so good morning, everyone, and I hope everyone is safe and sound for today. I realized that I should be making a video like this instead of meeting in Zoom because not everyone would have a very good internet connection at home. So, therefore, I am sending you this video that would discuss the contents on writing chapters 1 to 3. But before I begin, it is important that you are able to download literature and, of course, not just download, you make sense of them already. Because the very prerequisite in writing your chapters 1, 2, 3 is that you already have a blind spot or a blank spot of your study. When we discuss those blind spot and blank spot in our research class, we mean to say that they are problems or the gaps in the literature. And those gaps are the very reason why we would like to conduct a research paper. Please take note that we do research because we would like to solve a problem. And the problem that we are referring to in research is actually the conflicting findings in the literature, or what we call blind spot. If you are able to read them already, then you are in the better position now to write your chapters 1, 2, and 3. Now, chapters 1, 2, and 3 is actually parts of the thesis of LCUP, but essentially we call it elements of a research paper. When you say elements, there are three main parts of the research paper of LCUP, and they are preliminaries, body, and references. The first part is preliminaries. When you say preliminaries, it is composed of title page, approval sheet, acknowledgement, abstract, table of contents, of course, the table of contents would include the different parts of the paper, no? List of tables, list of figures, and list of appendices. So those are the 7 parts of the preliminaries that you need to know. Now there are downloadable sample thesis format that we uploaded in the LCUP FB page. You can download them anytime so that you would have an idea of the different contents of the preliminaries. But of course, when you say title page, it is the page where you see or you write the title of your paper, your name, the school where you're connected, and the possible date of graduation. The approval sheet is the sheet where the advisor gives you an approval for the proposal of your paper or for the defense of your paper. It is also the sheet where the panel members' names are included, including the dean of the graduate school. Abstract, according to American Psychological Association, 7th edition, is about 120 words that would contain the following: objectives, methods, results or findings, and conclusions. When you count them, it should only be 120 words according to APA, but some journal management would require 200 words. So to be safe, we can come up with 120 to 200 words abstract. And then, as I've mentioned, the table of contents, I'm sorry, I forgot the acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is the page where you give thanks to those people who have helped you in finalizing your research paper. You need to identify them one by one. Those only who contributed to your paper. And then this is followed by table of contents, as I've mentioned. This will be the page where the entire contents of the paper will be enlisted in that page with corresponding pagination. This is for easier accessibility of the contents of the paper. List of tables, as the term implies, would allow you to enlist all the tables that are present in your paper. In the same manner, that is true for list of figures and list of appendices. By the way, these things that I've been discussing with you, I already uploaded a PowerPoint presentation in our FB page. All you need to do is just to open them and try to browse them. Now, in terms of the body of the research paper at LCUP contains 5 chapters. Of course, chapter 1 is entitled The Problem and Its Background. Chapter 2 is entitled Review of Literature. Chapter 3 is Methodology of the Study. Chapter 4 is Presentation, Analysis, and Interpretation of Data. And Chapter 5 would be about summary, conclusions, and recommendations. Normally, when you propose your full-blown paper, it must contain chapters 1, 2, and 3. Upon approval of the panel members, you will proceed to implementation or data gathering. You will make sense of the data. You will process them either manually or using softwares. And then that's the time that you are going to write your chapters 4 and 5 for your final defense. So essentially, we have 5 chapters. Chapters 1 to 3 for proposal, and chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 if you will proceed to final defense. I also would like to remind you that when you write your proposal paper, since it is proposal, the tenses must be in the future tense. No? You're going to use will be, this paper will use, will be. On the other hand, when you are done with your paper, or if you're ready for final defense, you're now going to change the tenses of your paper. It must now be in the past form or past tense. No? So please remember that. So let's start with chapter 1. Chapter 1 is entitled again, The Problem and Its Background. And it has several parts. The first part is introduction, followed by significance of the study, followed by theoretical and conceptual framework, statement of the problem, hypothesis of the study, definition of terms, and scope and delimitation. So there are 7 sub-components of chapter 1. Let's begin with the first part of chapter 1, which is introduction. Introduction is the careful presentation of the importance and validity of the problem. You must be able to establish that the problem that you are working on is valid, meaning there should be a reason for you to conduct a problem, to conduct a study, and that is there should be a problem. So therefore, there should be a systematic and orderly presentation of background information with educational trends related to the problem, unsolved issues, and social concerns. Now, I'd like to give you a technique or tip in writing your introduction, and I call it the TIOC approach. T stands for trends, I stands for issues, O stands for objective, and C stands for contribution. So the first part of your introduction must be highlighting the trends in the field. No? You're going to discuss probably the definitions of the different variables that you would like to work on. That's why it is important that at the beginning, you were able to identify your IV and DV. Because those IV and DV will be discussed under trends. You're going to discuss the trends about